You slept, but woke up heavy. Ever had that feeling? Like you've been carrying bags you don't remember packing? You didn't run a marathon? You didn't lift weights in your dreams? And yet, your body aches, your chest feels tight, and your mind is already spinning before your feet even hit the floor. That's not just tiredness, that's emotional weight. Invisible, but real. And the worst part? Most people think it's normal. We've been taught that sleep is enough, that if we close our eyes, everything resets. But what no one tells you is this: you can sleep 8 hours and still wake up exhausted, because rest isn't just physical. It's emotional, mental, spiritual. You can't heal overnight what you've been avoiding all day. And waking up lighter has less to do with the number of hours you sleep, and more to do with how you carry yourself before and after the bed. In this video, you won't hear cliché advice or morning hacks that only work for people with perfect lives. You'll hear what no one's talking about, the hidden reasons you wake up tired even when your body rested. We're going deep into your thoughts, your habits, your emotional clutter. You'll learn simple yet powerful ways to release what you didn't even know was weighing you down. Because the truth is, waking up lighter is not a luxury. It's your birthright. You've just forgotten how to claim it. Let's change that, starting now. Most people think they go to bed to rest, but the truth is, many carry the entire weight of their day under the covers. It's not just your body that lies down at night. It's your unfinished conversations, your silent worries, the things you didn't say, the fears you tucked away. It all comes with you. Like invisible luggage, these mental and emotional leftovers sneak into your dreams, mess with your breathing, and make rest feel like more work. Have you ever woken up more exhausted than when you went to sleep? That's not just physical. It's emotional congestion. Your mind was still busy even while your body looked like it was sleeping. And here's the catch: most of this weight isn't even yours to carry anymore. He once met a woman who said, "I lie in bed, and my brain becomes louder than ever." It's common. People think sleep is an off switch, but it's actually a magnifying glass for whatever we didn't process during the day. The fight with a loved one, the bill you're worried about, the decision you keep delaying, they all echo louder in the quiet of night. Your nervous system doesn't get the memo that it's time to rest. It's still alert. That's why your jaw clenches, your shoulders tighten, and your chest feels heavy even as you lie in the dark. Most people aren't resting. They're rehearsing pain, failure, rejection, expectations. And no one teaches us how to put that weight down. So what can someone do? Start small. Before bed, try writing just 3 thoughts that feel unresolved. Name them. Acknowledge them. Sometimes, clarity alone lightens the load. Try saying, "I did what I could today, and it's okay to let go." Even 5 minutes of silence with a hand on your chest can tell your nervous system, "You're safe now." It's not magic, it's practice. The truth is, the mind doesn't shut down unless it feels heard. And if we never listen to it during the day, it starts shouting at night. But there's a subtle shift that happens when we stop letting the night become a dumping ground, and instead, let it be a place of renewal. Just because someone sleeps 8 hours doesn't mean they're rested. Rest is deeper. It's a release, not just a pause. Think of it this way: sleeping is what your body does automatically, but resting is what your soul allows. That's why people can wake up after a full night's sleep and still feel like they've been hit by a truck. Their body may have been still, but their mind never stopped running. Real rest is an invitation. It says, "You're safe. You can soften. You don't have to perform right now." But most of us go to sleep like we go into battle. Tension in the jaw, to-do lists still spinning, trying to outrun our own thoughts. He knew a man who would fall asleep watching the news every night. Headlines, sirens, chaos, and then straight into bed. "I'm sleeping fine," he'd say. But was he resting? Not really. His body was unconscious, but his mind had no peace. That's like parking a car, but leaving the engine running. No wonder so many wake up tired. It's not just about hours, it's about how you enter those hours. Creating a simple habit before bed, like dimming the lights, stretching gently, or even playing calm music, can tell your brain, "We're shifting gears now." This transition is where rest begins, not with the clock, but with intention. One powerful practice: a 3-minute reset. Right before bed, close your eyes and ask yourself, is there something I need to let go of before I close this day? It could be a frustration, a mistake, or just an internal tension. Speak it out. Whisper it if you have to. It's not silly. It's self-care. Try leaving your phone in another room or swapping scrolling for a slow cup of tea. These choices may seem small, but they add up to big shifts. True rest comes when your body and your mind agree. We're done for today. And when that happens, you don't just sleep, you heal. And healing prepares you for something far more powerful the next morning. Mornings are more powerful than people think. The first 10 minutes after you wake up don't just start your day, they shape it. It's like wet cement. Whatever you press into it early on sticks. Most people roll over, grab their phone, and flood their brain with noise before they even take a breath. Emails, bad news, other people's opinions. Before you even meet your own thoughts, you've met the world's chaos. And then we wonder why we feel anxious before breakfast. But there's a quieter way to start. One that honors your energy instead of scattering it. He once challenged a friend. No phone for the first 15 minutes of your day. Just you with you. At first, she said it felt weird, like something was missing. But after a week, she noticed something powerful. Clarity. She felt more present, more focused. That space became sacred. She replaced the scroll with something that fed her instead. Reading a single page from a book, journaling one honest thought, sipping coffee in silence. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be intentional. The way you greet the day is the way the day greets you back. Try this tomorrow. Before standing up, place one hand on your heart and take 3 slow breaths. Ask, what do I need most today? Really, that one question can shift everything. Maybe it's courage. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's just not rushing. This kind of mindful start isn't a luxury. It's a compass. And when you get intentional about the beginning, your decisions throughout the day become clearer. You're not just reacting anymore, you're leading. And there's something even deeper that happens when you stop rushing through your mornings and start owning them. There's a big difference between being lazy and being overloaded. But sadly, most people confuse the two. Waking up tired doesn't mean you're weak. It means your soul's been carrying too much. We live in a culture that praises hustle and treats exhaustion like a badge of honor. But what if the real strength isn't in pushing through, but in pausing? People aren't broken because they hit snooze or feel unmotivated. They're just maxed out, mentally, emotionally, sometimes spiritually. And calling that laziness only adds shame on top of burnout. He remembered a period in his life where he couldn't get out of bed, not because he didn't care, but because he cared too much for too long. There were no breaks, no room to breathe. The truth is, when you carry invisible responsibilities, like being the emotional anchor for others, managing silent anxieties, or constantly pretending to be okay, it drains you. And when your energy is spent on surviving, there's very little left for thriving. What looks like procrastination is often protection. The body and mind are begging for stillness, and the only way they know how to get it is to shut down. Here's something radical to try. Instead of saying, I'm being lazy, say, I'm at my limit. See how that feels. Now go one step further. List everything on your mental plate, from real tasks to emotional burdens. Just acknowledging it can feel like taking off a backpack you didn't even know you were wearing. Then ask, what can I let go of today? Lightness doesn't come from doing more. It comes from choosing what matters. And once you stop punishing yourself for being tired, you make space for something new to enter your mornings. Trying to control everything is like holding your breath and calling it living. The tighter you grip, the heavier life feels. And most people don't realize how much energy they waste wrestling with what's outside their reach. Thoughts like, what if it doesn't work? Or why did they treat me that way? Swirl endlessly in the mind. But here's the thing. Peace doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from letting go of the need to have them. The moment you say, I don't have to carry this, a weight lifts. Not because the problem disappeared, but because your suffering about it did. He had a ritual he used every night. He'd write down 3 things that were bothering him, things he couldn't control, and physically crumple the paper. Not to fix them, but to release them. And it worked. That small gesture told his body, you're not responsible for the whole world tonight. You can do something similar. Light a candle and whisper what you're letting go of. Stretch while breathing out what's not yours. Even a silent walk before bed, repeating, I release what I can't fix, can do wonders. These aren't just calming habits. They're acts of freedom. And in the morning, the same rule applies. Before you reach for your phone or revisit yesterday's stress, try this. Sit for 1 minute with your eyes closed and say out loud what you can control today. Maybe it's your tone of voice, your attitude, the way you treat your body. This focus creates a powerful mental shift. You're not ignoring life's chaos, you're choosing where your energy goes. And when you learn to give up control, you're not giving up your power, you're finally reclaiming it, which leads to something even more subtle, yet transformative. Most people go through their days barely breathing. Sure, the body keeps going, but the breath? It's shallow, rushed, forgotten. It's survival mode breathing. But what if you treated your breath not like a background process, but like a healing tool? See, your breath is the only system in your body that's both automatic and voluntary. That means you can choose to use it to interrupt stress, release tension, and reset your nervous system. It's free, it's immediate, and it works better than most things we try to numb ourselves with. He remembered once sitting in traffic, overwhelmed by the chaos of the day, and he just stopped, took 1 breath in for 4 counts, held it for 4, then exhaled for 4. Just 1 round, and something shifted. It wasn't dramatic, but it was enough to stop the spiral. That's the power of conscious breathing. It pulls you out of your mind and into your body. First thing in the morning, before you even get out of bed, try this. 1 hand on your stomach, the other on your heart, and take 3 deep breaths. Feel the belly rise. Feel the air move. That's real breath. That's presence. You don't need an app or a routine that takes an hour. Start simple. Box breathing. 4, 7, 8 breath. Alternate nostril breathing. These techniques may sound new age, but they're ancient wisdom wrapped in modern stress. Try breathing in deeply while thinking, I receive, and exhaling while thinking, I release. That's it. Do it once, then maybe twice. Let it grow from there. The point isn't to be perfect, it's to be present. And once you reclaim your breath, something else starts to shift inside, like the internal clutter finally has space to quiet down. Most people wake up tired, not just because they slept poorly, but because they carried emotional chaos into their sleep. Imagine trying to rest in a room full of clutter, books everywhere, clothes on the floor, dishes piled up. That's what it's like inside the mind when we go to bed with unresolved emotions. The body may lie still, but the emotional mess is still loud. When your inner world is unorganized, even dreams feel like arguments. And here's the thing, emotional clutter doesn't go away by ignoring it. It grows. It shows up in your tone, in your silence, in your tension. He spoke to someone once who said, I keep waking up angry, but nothing happened. That's emotional backlog. Old feelings, unmet needs, words never spoken. They pile up. And the more you avoid them, the more your inner home becomes a space you don't want to be in. So, instead of escaping through distractions, ask, what's out of place inside me? Maybe it's resentment. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's grief. Name it. Give it a chair. That's how you start cleaning up. Not by forcing solutions, but by giving your emotions the respect of being acknowledged. A practical way to start this emotional housekeeping? Every night, write down 1 emotion you felt strongest that day, and 1 word for how you want to feel tomorrow. Just 1. This tiny ritual gives structure to your inner world. You begin seeing patterns. You begin recognizing what you've been stuffing into the corners of your heart. And slowly, the weight starts lifting. When your emotional space is clearer, your mornings become quieter. Not because life got easier, but because you did. And this shift in emotional clarity makes room for the next layer of healing. Your body remembers everything your mind tries to forget. Every time you push through stress, suppress emotion, or ignore fatigue, your body stores it. In the shoulders, the jaw, the hips. You might not notice it, but by morning, it feels like you're waking up wearing someone else's armor. That stiffness, that heavy feeling before your feet hit the ground, it's the residue of everything you didn't release. But here's the truth. When you care for the body, you soften the soul. Movement isn't just physical, it's emotional release. He once met a man who stretched every morning, not to work out, but to wake up. He'd step onto his balcony, feel the sun on his skin, and reach his arms to the sky like he was letting go of yesterday. No timer, no app, just breath, light, and motion. And it changed everything. You don't need a yoga mat or a full routine. Try this. Before coffee, roll your shoulders back slowly. Twist your spine gently side to side. Let your neck drop. Just move, with intention, with kindness. These tiny movements signal to the body, you're safe, you're seen, you can soften now. And don't underestimate the power of sunlight. 10 minutes of natural light in the morning resets your internal clock and lifts your mood. Even standing by a window, sipping something warm, counts. This isn't about productivity. It's about presence, about remembering that you're not a machine to be charged overnight. You're a living, breathing being that needs care. When you invite the body into your morning, you don't just feel lighter, you become lighter. And with that lightness comes a deeper readiness to reconnect with something even more essential. Most people start their day tuning into the world before they tune into themselves. Notifications, headlines, noise. It's like waking up and immediately being thrown into a crowd, even if you're still in bed. The mind doesn't get a chance to breathe because it's already reacting. But imagine if the first voice you heard was your own, not your boss, not your social feed. Just you, your thoughts, your feelings, your breath. That kind of silence isn't emptiness. It's a doorway to clarity. And clarity, first thing in the morning, is gold. She once tried a simple shift, leaving her phone in another room overnight. At first, it felt wrong, like something was missing. But by day 3, something beautiful happened. Space. She had room to think, not scroll. She had time to feel, not consume. That silence, even just for 15 minutes, gave her a sense of ownership over her own day. It wasn't about rejecting the world, it was about choosing herself first. The peace didn't come from the absence of sound, it came from the presence of self. So try this. The next time you wake up, sit up slowly. Don't reach for anything, just notice. What's your first thought? What does your body feel like? What do you need before the world tells you what to be? These questions may feel unfamiliar at first, but that's okay. You're not used to meeting yourself in the quiet. But once you do, it becomes something sacred. And from that place of stillness, something new begins to rise. Something softer, stronger, and far more attuned to what really matters. How you treat yourself in the first hour of the day sets the emotional tone for everything that follows. Most people start their mornings in war, with themselves, rushing, criticizing, listing failures before they've even brushed their teeth. But imagine what would change if the first words you spoke were kind. You're doing your best. It's okay to go slow today. You don't have to earn your worth. These aren't just affirmations, they're medicine. Because kindness isn't fluff, it's fuel. And it changes how you carry your entire day. He used to wake up with a mental whip. You're already behind. Why didn't you do more yesterday? It drained him before he even got out of bed. So, he flipped the script. Each morning, he looked in the mirror and said one gentle truth to himself, even if he didn't fully believe it yet. You're allowed to rest. You're still growing. Over time, that inner dialogue softened, and the softness gave him energy he didn't even know he was missing. Because when you stop attacking yourself, you stop wasting energy defending yourself. Try this tomorrow. Write a note to yourself, just one sentence of encouragement, and leave it where you'll see it in the morning. On the bathroom mirror, on your phone lock screen, anywhere. It might sound silly. It's not. You're building a new kind of momentum, one grounded in grace, not pressure. And here's the truth. The world is hard enough already. You don't need to be your own enemy. When you start your day with kindness, you create a space where your energy can expand. And from that space, deeper healing becomes possible. Most people underestimate how much their nights affect their mornings. We think sleep starts when we hit the pillow, but it actually begins with what we consume, feel, and think in the hours before. That late-night doom scrolling, that mental replay of an argument, that moment you swallowed sadness just to avoid it, all of that stays with you. You don't sleep it off, you sleep with it. And then you wonder why you wake up anxious, disconnected, or already tired. The truth is, what you don't process at night, your body carries into tomorrow. She used to watch crime shows right before bed. It felt like a harmless habit, just entertainment. But over time, her dreams turned darker, her mornings heavier. It wasn't until she swapped those hours for journaling, stretching, or even reading something uplifting that things shifted. Her mornings felt calmer, lighter. It wasn't about avoiding reality. It was about choosing what energy she wanted to fall asleep with. Think of your evening like emotional digestion. If you go to bed full of tension, your system doesn't rest. It works over time. But if you end the day with a pause, a release, a small ritual, that's when true rest begins. Try this tonight. Before brushing your teeth, write down one thing you're grateful for and one thing you're letting go of. That's it. Let the day end with a breath, not a burden. Even something as simple as washing your face with intention can become a ritual of closure. These aren't chores. They're choices. Choices that signal to your nervous system. The day is done. You're safe now. And when your body gets that message, your mornings don't start in survival. They begin in renewal, which makes it easier to face what most people spend a lifetime avoiding. We all run from pain, from shame, from the parts of ourselves we don't want to face. But the more we run, the heavier we feel. Not because those parts are chasing us, but because they're in us. You can't outrun your own reflection. And here's the quiet truth. What you avoid doesn't disappear. It waits. It shows up in anxiety, in low energy, in that lingering sense of something's off. But the moment you stop, even for a breath, and turn inward with curiosity instead of fear, something shifts. Lightness begins not by changing who you are, but by finally facing who you've always been. He once said, "I was scared to sit with myself. I thought I'd find something broken. But what I found was someone tired of pretending." That kind of honesty changes lives. When you stop needing to escape your inner world, you begin to shape it. You get to ask deeper questions. What am I really feeling? What have I been avoiding? What would happen if I stopped hiding this? These questions are invitations, not judgments, and answering them doesn't require a therapist or a retreat. It just requires presence and courage, the kind you already have deep down. Try this. When you wake up tomorrow, take 60 seconds to sit with your eyes closed and simply feel. Not fix, not label, just notice. That discomfort you've been avoiding, it's not your enemy, it's your teacher. And the more you allow it, the more it softens. You don't have to solve everything. You just have to stop running. Because peace doesn't come from escape, it comes from embrace. And once you stop running from yourself, you create space to walk towards something so much greater. So, now that you've seen what really makes your mornings heavy, what will you choose to carry into tomorrow? Are you going to keep waking up in survival mode? Or are you finally ready to wake up with intention, presence, and peace? You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You just need to pause, breathe, and choose differently. And that starts with one question. What are you still holding on to that no longer belongs in your morning? Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's the pressure to prove yourself. Maybe it's simply the habit of rushing through life before your soul even has time to speak. But here's the truth. When you treat your mornings like sacred ground, life begins to respond in kind. One breath, one small ritual, one kind word to yourself. That's where the shift begins. Now I want to hear from you. What's the one thing you're going to let go of tonight to wake up lighter tomorrow? Share it in the comments. Let's make this space a place of real transformation. And if this message spoke to you, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay with me on this journey. Because every day we go deeper and lighter together.